Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Hope you're well. Happy Ballsmic Wednesday. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. But, hey, if you do, life's busy. I got it. We're all burdened by responsibility, expectation, and the like. Sometimes you don't have time for frivolity and to relax and do the things you want. So when you do, you say, I can find it right there on iTunes. All 3 hours, every day. Rate, review, 5 stars. It lets others locate the program. It's also in our archived audio. You can email the show if you like. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Appreciate all those emails. And all your kind words, quibbles, queries, all that good stuff. It's often fodder, so keep them coming. It's jcs@979espnradio.com. Twitter @JCameron Show. WTSM app, good for mobile devices. I actually utilized my WTSM app recently, Tom. I was running errands, and I was excited about a segment I was listening to right here on ESPN Radio, and I got out of my car because I had to bring groceries in. I live at the grocery store. I thought, I don't have to do without. I have the WTSM app. I could listen to the rest of this segment as I put said groceries away. And I did.
Was the segment as good as you thought it was going to be?
No, it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. It had real potential, but it was ruined by the younger Golick.
Oh, well, now I know what show it is.
Happened to be. I was, I do my shopping in the mornings, and I wanted to hear there was a guest coming on. I really didn't care about the show itself, but the guest I did, and they ruined the interview. So there was that.
Who was the guest?
It was Buster Olney coming on.
Okay.
I love Buster, but they didn't ask good questions. They ruined it. I didn't want to go there. I'm just letting you know you can utilize that.
Now I know you really did use the WTSM app.
Yeah, no.
Had to vet it.
Well,
didn't know if it was an empty gesture.
No, it's not an empty gesture. He's great. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, Periscopers. I hope you guys are great. I'll get to something in a second. Right here in the opening segment, we're gonna make you feel. We're gonna fill your hearts with joy, man. We're gonna make it happen. All right, it's gonna be good stuff. We'll get it done here in a second. Glad you didn't say anything profane there, Tom.
Yeah, I left my mic on, didn't I?
Your mic on. I just was like, okay.
That's the intern's mention. His name is out there.
Yep. But I'm holding a Rambler. That's all. It's a hint. Holding a Rambler. Big old Rambler. It's just fun to say. I feel like Gundy would say it.
Ooh, a hot mic. I could have said anything.
You could have. You got to be careful.
Hey, Matthew, you know what I think about your Phillies?
But I would have said, we're on a 7-second delay. That makes me laugh, but the audience will miss out on your bickering with Matthew about baseball. All right, Florida State's taking on Clemson on Saturday afternoon at 3:30, and it's been hard to conjure up a reason for hope and belief. And I know that leaves you kind of things turn dour. You feel kind of, I don't know, a little heartbroken. I had one guy on Twitter say that he appreciated my thoughts on in headlines about how angry I was regarding the offensive line play and how this has spilled over. In fact, I'll read it right now. Lottie wrote, I love the pissed-off passion of Jeff Cameron Show on some of the headlines when talking about the inexcusable multi-year train wreck of this offensive line. I feel exactly what that man feels. Hashtag, that's a toughie. Yeah, he did use my lingo there, and it's true. And I've gotten progressively more angry as the week has gone on, and it's not subsiding. It's getting worse, and I don't want to bring that to the table, Tom. I don't want to do that to the people. My frustrations.
The people.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that. They know that. I've expressed that opinion on these airwaves for years now regarding this group of slappies up front, and it's at some point, Jeff, you're just beating the damn dead horse daily. So I find alternative avenues. That doesn't always please people either. But, I got to be true to myself. Sometimes those alternative avenues are gambling lines and things of that ilk, or music talk, or food, or perhaps the newest thing on Netflix.
Maybe a walk. Maybe just not even a talk at all.
Actually, I've been going more frequently, and I'm not going to combine all of our sponsors in one segment, but I've been going more frequently to Orange Theory, and I do have a note on that. Went again today. I was spectacular, just so you know. I really felt good today. I was really getting it today. And you're encouraged by coaches and you feel good.
It's a great day.
It was a great day.
The best.
Yeah, probably the fastest anybody's ever run. But what I would tell you
Many
is this.
steps. All the steps.
What I would tell you is this, that they want me to do another contest soon, so we're going to open that up start next week
All
for
right.
you guys to start putting your names in again, and we'll give you a free, 10 workouts? It's something awesome. So be on the lookout for that. Heads up on all of that. Anyhow, I don't want to continue to posit, negativity day in and day out with the offensive line. You can't talk about the game without reflecting how poor that group is, reflecting on how poor, for lengths at a time, how poor that group is. So I just won't spend a lot of time on the game today. Not a ton of time.
But, buddy, Cole Minshew is back at practice this week. He may be working with the third team, but maybe he can give you 20 reps at guard. You can flex out Brady Scott to tackle. Oh, there it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If Cole Minshew is healthy, he is an upgrade of what we're currently doing. He would help this offensive line. Is Juwan Williams ever going to play football again?
He's also practicing with the third team this week.
Jesus, man. That is the one. See? This is what happens.
But they may be answers, Maybe you get Juwan to play left and Cole can play guard, especially when Mike Arnold has to be in there. And you can flex Brady out to play the other tackle position, or he could be your Swiss Army knife.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being happy about the potential of added depth and reps from some of your linemen that can actually, hang in there, marginally, but hang in there.
May not be able to be ready by this weekend, Got to be in shape to play on this offensive line, so I don't know that Cole's ready to do that quite yet. Maybe he never was. Not at this pace. But still, those options are out there. Even if it's 10 snaps. It's 10 snaps more that you don't have to lament things.
Dabo Swinney, by the way, talking about this team, has noted how talented we are. And maybe I should just utilize Dabo Swinney's words. He comes at it from a much more positive place, Tom. Now, some people took this to mean that he was acting as a Florida State hype man, quote unquote. That was in the article I read from my man, Ira Schafel, on warchant.com. But I didn't read it that way. I read it as a snarky, not taking by the way, this is not me taking issue with Dabo Swinney's words. It's me appreciating that he learned and was taught many lessons from a fellow coach in the state of South Carolina, Steve Spurrier, who took him to task in school on the regular by killing him with kindness.
I hope he's learned the most important lesson that Spurrier taught in South Carolina.
To resign and quit on your team.
To quit on his team.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope Brent Venables learned that lesson as well.
Probably more important than Venables learned that lesson.
It's probably more important, isn't it? Yes,
yeah.
I think so. So what Swinney had to say this week was, quote, "They're the most talented team we've played. All you've got to do is check the recruiting rankings. I think they've out-recruited us probably 5 of the last 7 years or more. If you went back even further, we might have beaten them only twice in recruiting in the last 10 years. Come on, man. That's not a compliment. That's his way of saying, yeah, we develop players better than Florida State. They've out-recruited us, they have better players, and we beat their ass every year. That's what he's saying. And if I were him, I'd do the same thing. Now, he knows that part of that is nonsense because we can't block. So I don't care if I've got better players than you at defensive back, wide receiver, running back. And, oh, by the way, I don't. Your receivers are better than our receivers as a group. Your running backs are better than our running backs as a group. Your corners and safeties are better coached and better players than our corners and safeties. So, and your linebackers are worlds better than our linebackers. So it's not entirely true to say, well, they've out-recruited us. It does show some of the weakness in recruiting rankings, but it also does shine a light on how well those players are coached once they get to Clemson and how they develop them.
Best player on the field, Marvin Wilson. That's right. He's playing the best this year. That's what we got.
Love Marvin, but it feels a lot like when Leroy Selman was the best player on the field any given Sunday, and the Bucs would lose by 40. So that's how that works, right? It's frustrating. I did laugh that he threw that out there. He did go on to say, and this is where I think it's very Spurrier-esque, well, they've got a bunch of good players. I mean, you can hear it. You could just hear it. Easily the most talented team we've played to this point. Good shot at Jimbo and Texas A&M because they've got really good players.
Well, this is partially Jimbo's recruiting. I don't know.
Swinney went on to say Florida State ought to be 5-0 right now. You think that's a compliment too? No. That's another shot. It's smart. It's really smart. You're speaking to recruits. I just hate being on the wrong end of those deserved shots. It just sucks.
And deserved they are.
And that's, I mean, it's almost comical. If we were watching from afar and this was a big matchup between two other teams and a coach did that, you would crack up. You'd be like, well played,
We'd
sir.
capture the audio and play it for years, as we did with Spurrier.
Yes. We would say, well played, sir. That couldn't be any more snarky, tongue-in-cheek, condescending. Good Lord. Well, that's what we got to start the week. That's what they got. I love it. Instead, they're 3-2. They should be 5-0. Damn it, man. That'll anger you. I can see it.
A little bit.
Yeah.
At least today. But you know what? I got a silver lining for you. I got a silver lining.
Yeah.
And you just reached for it yourself, literally. At least today's Wicked Wednesday, buddy.
Which. And the Jeff Cameron Show right there. Rambler Heaven coming your way. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, Wicked. 5 meats. That's what I said.
That's right.
5 meats.
3 cheeses and
3
$5.
Yeah.
It's just $5 on a Wednesday.
$5.
$5.
For a big old Rambler for you to win right now. The hell's the number here? 523-3776.
That's correct. That is correct. 523 ESPN.
Yeah, I usually get it right.
Boom.
Yeah. So there you go. If you want that, come on with it. And today is Wicked Wednesday, at which my son will be elated when I swing him past there to get one of those giant sandwiches. And, in fact, I think we will. That's what's going to happen before I go do my golf show tonight on Sirius XM. A little which action.
He's self-promo on the way out.
You got to do what you got to do, Tom.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Look out. Touchdown.
So when the Knowles hit the road, join us at Hangar 38 in Bannerman Crossing, the exclusive watch party headquarters for 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee's sports monster.
One of my favorite things about being a member at Orange Theory Fitness is the sense of community. Initially, after taking the tour and seeing the state-of-the-art equipment, I was intrigued. I became convinced even once I researched the science-backed technology track, coach-inspired workouts, all of that. But what I didn't count on was the support, the sense of camaraderie shown by the members and the coaches. You realize pretty quickly you're not alone. And when you're pushing yourself through barriers and attempting to be your personal best, you can use all the help you can get. And it's there. It's amongst the members and coaches at Orange Theory Fitness. To learn more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram is the Jeep headquarters of America. We've purchased over 100 Jeep Renegades, and they've all arrived and are on the lot for immediate delivery. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude with MSRP starting at $25,120. On sale now for $18,870. That's a savings of $6,250. A new Jeep starting at only $18,870. Those prices are unheard of and can only be found at your Jeep headquarters of America, Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. No other dealer can offer you this kind of savings. We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fees. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Oh, yes, you've thought about it, but now it's time to enjoy the moss-drenched live oak, rolling hills, and pristine greens of Southwood Golf Club. Our friends at Southwood Golf Club offer individual, family, and student memberships, and now offer the all-in membership. That's right. Never pay a cart fee when you play. Don't forget, at Southwood Golf Club, it's not just about the golf. Hit the clubhouse for brunch, or maybe enjoy trivia night, live music, happy hour, and all-you-can-eat night specials, too. For membership information or to join right now, just call 850-942-4653. Southwood Golf Club is ready to make you a member. 850-942-4653.
Come on, pick me!
Yoo-hoo! Pick me, pick me!
No, pick me!
Take your pick with the Florida Lottery Pick Daily Games. With Pick 2, Pick 3, Pick 4, and Pick 5, you could win top prizes from $50 to $50,000. And you have 2 chances to win every day. The Pick Daily Games from the Florida Lottery. It's your ticket.
Claim it!
Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
This team is ready for the playoffs.
And the Braves will raise another banner over Atlanta.
The National League Division Series is on as the Braves battle the St. Louis Cardinals for a shot at glory.
Donaldson with a great catch. That ball is gone. Home run.
ESPN Tallahassee congratulates the 2019 NL East champions. This message is brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey, proud supporter of Atlanta Braves baseball. You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. You excited for some baseball? It's coming up at 5 o'clock. We got it for you, man. We are fortunate as diehard baseball fans to have 3 Game 5s, 2 today, 1 tomorrow. Yes, sir. How about the Rays last night? And, you know, this is what you wish for in postseason baseball, these moments of winner-take-all and intensity and you know, you got really good teams here. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, Tampa Bay, Houston, it's not stunning to me that Tampa Bay came back and won a couple of games against Houston. Tampa Bay's been one of the best teams in baseball. To win as many games as they did in that division tells you that. And then if you look at the metrics, they've been great. Washington can really pitch. And we said if they got in with that top 3, Strasburg going tonight, that's a problem. You didn't want to see them if you were the Dodgers. Nobody wants that in a short series, having to deal with that. Yeah. No, you don't want that. And so it's not shocking that thing's going the distance now. And as far as St. Louis, Atlanta, well, I mean, that appears to be destiny. I swear, St. Louis could look like the vastly inferior team over and over and over again, and they'll get a bunch of sawed-off hits that fall in the middle of nowhere for no reason whatsoever and find a way. And, you know, if you're a Braves fan, I'm not trying to be an ass, but the truth is you let that one get away, and now you probably have zero confidence going into this game because, frankly, the better pitcher is starting for St. Louis today.
Yeah, that'll be the case 30 years from now when Molina comes out in a wheelchair and is in the batter's box, and he's got the bat over the edge of the wheelchair.
Fouls
and
off 17 pitches with just a flick, and then at some point somehow finds, you know, this little chunk of grass between every fielder the Braves have.
Mm-hmm. Or it's a swinging bunt, and then he just motors down first baseline in the wheelchair. I was also thrilled that last night's baseball game down in St. Pete was once again narrated by the beautiful stylings of Kenny Albert, who works every event and sucks at them all.
Yes, he does.
Oh, my God.
But let me tell you, they got something over there with the other two.
Yes.
That's a combo. That's a nice combo. 2 former catchers, 1 former manager, 1 opinionated player. Nicely done. I was very impressed with their analysis. They did a very good job of mixing analytics with thoughts on a manager or a player in a situation, trying to diagnose pitches and why, setups.
You've got a manager who's disclosing his scouting reports from recent years. I just got to tell you don't want to throw Lowen away here. That last at-bat was a great example of the two of them. They disagree with how you pitch at the final at-bat, but yet they were respectful of each other, and they gave each other their own platform without trying to be first take or something.
Brzezinski is really pretty good. He's got something working. Now, he goes off on these little sidebars every time, and I get it. He hates Twitter. Good for you. I mean, we all kind of do. It's a cesspool. It's ass. Yes, it is. But I don't need you for 5 minutes on this. We got the next pitch here. Let's go.
And then here's one of the big moments of the game, because it's a ground ball up the middle. And the viewer at home doesn't know if that's going to be a hit or not.
Oh, it looks like it's definitely a hit. And then the Rays have shifted perfectly, as they're wont to do.
Ground ball. Not even. Fields it, throws it. Ground ball.
Yeah.
And the Rays force a game 5. Yeah. Thanks, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny.
You're not I know you
elevate this.
I know you hate Kenny.
I do.
Somewhere between Kenny and what Joe Tessitore does is the truth, right? I mean, because Joe Tess has got to calm the hell down with these Monday night games. These games suck, and he tries to make everything sound like it's the greatest play ever in the history of football.
Yes,
You go,
does.
Joe, it's 28-3. Stop that. Stop doing that. The Browns got a first down. Great. They're losing by 25.
Mayfield rolls right. Fires!
You're like,
caught by Beckham.
You're like, well, certainly it wasn't caught by Beckham because they haven't found him yet. But
he's a better thrower than he is passer on Monday.
It's crazy, man. I love, and I laugh at this. I like to believe we're not part of the problem. But boy, oh boy, what a disgusting week for sports talk and sports, it's not even journalism, just the shows, like the circuit, if you will, whether you're talking about First Take or you're talking about the Fox show or any of them, right? They spent literally the last 24 hours, they've been talking about whether or not Baker Mayfield shook Sherman's hand.
Yeah, but the Browns play. We knew this was coming. For one reason or another, there was going to be drama with the Browns.
But, I mean, what are we doing?
It's the payoff.
What are we talking about? Who cares? They lost 31-3 or whatever that was. 35. What was the final? 35-3?
Oh, I quit.
It was an ass beat.
The game was over. I quit on it.
The story isn't whether or not Baker Mayfield shook hands with Sherman. The story is that they suck.
Oh, man, the headline yesterday.
They can't block.
ESPN.com front page of the video. Stephen A. says that Baker Mayfield is not a scrub, but he's definitely overrated. Click on this video for 90 seconds, please.
Well, we're into this season now, and the question is routinely asked on all of these shows: is he overrated? Is he a bad player? What if he's just not good? Look, I heard a while back. I think it might have been Chris Carter of all people, but I completely agreed with him on this. I either tweeted it or something. He was talking about quarterback development, quarterback growth, and how it does not mesh with the current 24-hour-a-day news cycle, because there has to be an opinion, and it has to be a polarizing one, posited by every host, every anchor, analyst out there after every game. So everything's a referendum. And that doesn't work with quarterbacks in their first 2 years in the league. You can't really know. I mean, sometimes sometimes there's somebody who's special, somebody who is appreciably better than the other rookies that we've seen over the last 10 years, somebody who may even be transcendent. They can be identified. Patrick Mahomes seems to be one of those individuals.
Mahomes is generational out of this world.
Right.
But Deshaun Watson, for example,
right. We're still,
emerges and you go, whoa, okay.
Yeah, but we're still. I still don't think we totally know yet with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we think he's good. Well, I like him a lot, but he has these up and down moments. We've seen that.
So coming out of college, he's considered a system quarterback who doesn't know diddly about how to play at the professional level.
Right.
The throws he was capable of making against Alabama in tight windows had me saying,
I think he can play.
He might. If anybody stands a chance, it's this guy, because he still looks down the field as he breaks the pocket, which is a really important trait that Russell Wilson had. And this guy's a little bit taller, and his arm talent is unbelievable. But then the media jumped on it after his first 4 games, and they said that he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm like, whoa.
You're like, hey, let's
hang
hold
on.
off now. Let's see what
He's
happens.
a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah.
And then he
He's off to
struggled
a good start.
at the playoffs and all that stuff. Like, well, maybe he's overrated. Hang on a damn minute.
No.
Do you always have to be definitive? And the answer is yes. That's the culture that ESPN has created. Is we always have to be definitive at any date and time. It's got to be stamped.
Drives me nuts because they've already done it twice this year with Lamar Jackson. I get this. I get the tweets that happen after he has a good game. And people will immediately say, well, so much for those who said that Lamar Jackson can't play. And then, okay, fine, whether you did or you didn't. I'm of the ilk of the camp that says, I don't think he's going to make it long term. But I'm not rooting against him. I got no problem with the kid. Whatever. He plays for the Ravens. I don't even care about the Ravens. I mean, I like young, dynamic quarterbacks. I think it's good for the league. So if they can play, and as long as they're not a-holes, I root for them to do well. All of them, frankly. Not if they're hurting my team, but he's not in our division. We got enough quarterbacks to worry about in our division. If he plays well, he does. Yeah. But here's what I'll tell you. Don't come at me with how great he is and how wrong everybody was because they beat the Dolphins and the Cardinals. The Dolphins and the Cardinals suck to high heaven. Everybody beats the Dolphins and the Cardinals. Everybody throws for a bunch of yards against the sorry-ass Dolphins and the Cardinals. Don't use that as evidence that he is great and that everybody who doubted he could play is wrong. Turned around, didn't play well against the Chiefs. They got a bunch of garbage points late to make that even fairly interesting.
That's correct.
And they just got smoked by the Browns, who we just saw get routed by San Francisco, and he didn't play well in that game. He didn't play well against the Steelers, who were down to their 4th-string quarterback. So, are we going to retweet now, everybody? Oh, no, I guess he can't play. I guess he sucks. I'm not doing either. Let's just wait and see here and get a bigger body of evidence with a lot of these guys. And this is where being a little bit older, I think, in the benefit of hindsight and really having the ability to go back and think about some of the better quarterbacks that emerged over time in this league. Whether you're talking about Steve Young, for example. Steve Young was with the Bucs. Everybody forgets that, right? Steve Young was not thought of as this transcendent, elite, potential Hall of Fame quarterback. He was different in that he was athletic. He could run around, left-handed, all that stuff. But he wasn't special. Nobody thought he's special. He goes and he has to back up Montana. He's frustrated. People see he has ability. It's a loaded team. He keeps waiting his turn. Still, this is years that are going by, Tom. This isn't year 1, year 2. Lots of time is going by. And then he gets his shot and he excels. You go back, Roger Staubach, Danny White. Danny White was behind Roger Staubach forever. People go, the unique thing about Danny White was that he was a punter as well. But you didn't know whether he could play. All of these guys, a lot of times, had to, I shouldn't say all these guys, most of these guys had to wait their turn. And they got shots. Think about how old Doug Williams was before people really recognized what kind of upper echelon quarterback he could be in the league. Now, I liked him in Tampa Bay, and then the organization turned their back on him, betrayed him. We go back to Culverhouse, and he was a racist and all those things that happened. But then when he finally gets his time to shine, he plays at a very high level, kicks ass with Washington, wins the MVP in the Super Bowl. You're happy for that guy. This is a long process. Quarterback in the league is hard. There aren't that many. Even Aaron Rodgers is sitting behind Brett Favre, and we're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, right? All these guys. Nowadays, guys come into the league, and it's like, if you're not awesome, and I don't mean good, I mean awesome, by year 2, you're a bust, you suck, you've got no chance. Or if you happen to be good early, we don't allow for the fact that maybe you're not really good. Maybe all the pieces are in play. Dak Prescott's a good example. He may still be a franchise quarterback worthy of the investment. I'm still not certain. I see lots of things in him, and I say, like that about him. I know I don't have to worry about him off the field. He's a smart guy, a hardworking guy. He seems to be beloved by his teammates. These are all things you would want from a franchise quarterback. He's got a good arm, and he makes a lot of NFL throws, but he's had the luxury of a really good offensive line for the most part, a great running game. He's able to glean the information from veteran players in the offensive scheme, like you're talking about tight end and wide receiver. He's had those guys since he came into the league. But when Zeke hasn't played, he hasn't been productive. So is he a byproduct of just how good Zeke is? Let's wait and see. Perfect example, Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh came into the league in a perfect situation. They played great defense, and they ran the ball. Ran the ball down your throat, and they asked that kid to throw the ball 16 to 21 times a game. He didn't have to be all that good. He was throwing off a play action. Over time, he took over the offense and proved to you that he was an elite player. Over time.
There was a time we crowned Robert Griffin III and Colin Kaepernick as opening up the new wave of what a quarterback is going to look like.
Yeah, it's just deep breaths, man, and they're going to have bad games. And look, you can focus on trends. You can certainly look and see if a guy is regressing. You can certainly look at a guy and find out whether or not he's afraid to take chances down the field. You can, unfortunately, that's really what's happened to Mariota, is that he was a guy that I thought, for the reasons you described with Deshaun, had a chance coming out of Oregon. I thought, that offense doesn't play in the NFL, but he's got a good arm. He's an otherworldly athlete, and he does throw the ball down the field more consistently. So I thought there was a real chance there. And in moments in his career, he has shown that, but some of that's been beaten out of him. Some of that now is just that guy is a check down Charlie, and really I don't think long-term you can win with him. They're going to have to move on.
The most impressive thing he did was transfer to the under center game immediately.
Yeah,
he did that
very
seamlessly.
Quickly. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers in waiting is what Tony Dungy said about Marcus Mariota.
Well, Tony.
We're still waiting, but,
it ain't happening.
It's okay. It could happen at any moment.
Sure.
We're still waiting. The problem is you have so many quarterbacks that are playing into their 40s or late 30s now, and they're playing at a really high level that people are spoiled. I mean, we had the golden age. We're still in it somewhat, but when Peyton Manning was at the peak of his power, and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady were, Drew Brees wasn't even in the discussion. It wasn't until like the latter part that he was put on the same plateau as Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Unless you're like a diehard NFL person, it was Manning and Brady, Brady and Manning. And then there's Big Ben out here somewhere, and Aaron Rodgers. Well, he's the most talented of them, but he doesn't have the credentials like a Peyton Manning and a Tom Brady do, because they're breaking records left and right. Oh, yeah, what about Drew Brees over here? He's really good. Or Phillip Rivers out in the West Coast. Man, if that guy came at a different place in time where the AFC wasn't as stacked as it is, what would he have done with the opportunity?
Side note, to make the point that, I was just making and add on to what you're saying, Drew Brees had to go elsewhere.
Yes.
Brees, and he got hurt, but Drew Brees had to leave. If they thought he was a Hall of Fame quarterback, they would have waited to see if he recovered from the injury.
So what everybody sees is all of these examples of great quarterback play, and a lot of them are playing concurrently. It's almost like, if Tiger and Phil were just a little bit better last year, even though Tiger won a major, I know what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
And you have 4 or 5 of the young guns all playing at the same time, then you get spoiled and think, well, anybody should be able to walk on tour and dominate the way that these 6 dudes are doing at the same time. But we're spoiled. We're spoiled by how good these guys are. And Tom Brady apparently is going to play till he dies on the field. So you have him playing forevermore. Drew Brees, we'll see if this thumb injury is the first of many to come.
He's pretty close on his way out.
But, I mean, these guys were over the hill for 6 to 8 years.
Well, now you can't hit guys, so you got a chance to play forever. Yeah.
Right.
You can't hit them.
So you have all this greatness reminding you all the time of what you don't have, but these are all Hall of Famers. It's just amazing how many of them we get to watch at the same time any Sunday.
And we're just desperate to crown the next Hall of Famer. I think the guy you would say, moving forward that you just love, partly because of system, but that's true of any quarterback. You got to be in a system that allows you to showcase your skills and puts up numbers. Otherwise, you get largely overlooked. But Patrick Mahomes is doing otherworldly things. When you watch him play, there's something different about his abilities. I don't have in my memory banks, I don't have a moment in time like I've seen 4 or 5 times from him in the last 2 years, in which a quarterback is rolling against the grain, against his body, and then turns and flicks the wrist to fire it 40 yards accurately in a place where only his receiver can get it. There have been many talented quarterbacks that did things that made you just sit back in awe. John Elway did a lot of crazy things. He was an elite athlete. People forget about that. He was an all-world baseball player, a really good football player, obviously. But he would do things on the go that a lot of people just couldn't do. But they're few and far between. Patrick Mahomes strikes me right now, certainly in this system, and he's a smaller guy, but he strikes me as one of those kinds of guys that we're going to be saying things like that about for a very, very long time. It's insane.
But a handful of years ago, a little bit longer than that now, I guess, we're saying those things about RG3 and Kaepernick the way that we're talking about Mahomes. And it's almost like, wow, you ruined it, because it should only be reserved for when you truly see something different instead of what you hope to see. I mean, you could think about a lot of examples across the last decade. Matt Ryan has an MVP year with that offense with Shanahan, where we're not talking necessarily all that much about Shanahan in the moment. He hasn't left and had success elsewhere. You're saying, Well, he's figured it out. This guy is a bona fide Hall of Famer.
Not anymore.
He's a mess. So Cam Newton has one of the greatest seasons in the history of the NFL. You'll never be able to take that away from him. He did things that we've never conceived possible.
Well, and he had a different body type than anybody that's ever played the position, and he was able to convert all those third and shorts, but also could kill you. He had arm strength. Now, not always the most accurate passer, but he bought time, and that allowed for big play after big play after big play. You're right.
Old Joe Flacco had one of the greatest postseasons in NFL history. Got the contract extension.
But I would argue even that Joe Flacco, who was a lot better version than this particular Joe Flacco we see every weekend, really greatly benefited from the miscalculated, Hail Mary he throws up, and it's a defensive back doesn't properly bat it down, and they win that game, and he goes on and wins that Super Bowl. If that guy picks that ball off, does that ever happen? Are they investing that money in Joe Flacco?
Well, the now retired Andrew Luck has otherworldly seasons. He's christened as Patrick Mahomes. He is the next big one.
But he was good.
But then he dipped down, and people started to doubt him openly across the country. They said, well, you know what? We were expecting a quicker payoff for this guy.
It certainly hurts.
Then he trends back up last year.
Beat up, yeah.
Right. All I'm saying is I think there's a lot of dudes in this day and age, the way the game is officiated, that are going to rise up and have really good individual seasons. That could be the caliber of All-Pro for a year. But the sustained greatness thing, don't bank on that unless you have one of these guys. I mean, Mahomes, he's one of those, but he just won the damn lottery. He wasn't the first quarterback off the board.
Of course not. Trubisky went before him, right?
That's correct.
But what I would argue too is that those guys you're describing, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees, obviously Tom Brady, even Tom Brady, he was behind Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
It took a freakish play of a guy getting hurt, and they didn't know what they had in Tom Brady.
Yeah.
They couldn't have.
Well,
in fact, those first couple of Super Bowls are won with the defense.
They definitely are. I'll give you a bizarre example, though. Nick Foles. I mean, how do you explain that? He's back up to Wentz, and then he goes on and has unbelievable success, takes them all the way to a Super Bowl, wins the damn thing by outthrowing Tom Brady.
Really, really did work in that offense. Some guys are systems quarterback. He strikes me as such. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if you can run the system and you run it well and succeed in these big moments, and he did. Bravo. But you got to run that system for him. There are very few guys that you would say, I don't know. I mean, could Patrick Mahomes, could he? Probably. But would you be properly utilizing his skill set if you asked him to just be a drop-back passer and do what Brady does in New England? I want to use the dynamic elements of what he is. Now, listen, Belichick would,
They run a lot of gun out there, though. He'd be fine.
Yeah, he's special.
In terms of throwing the ball down the field and being a check down guy a little bit more, I don't know.
Yeah, he's truly special, though. Him and I'm just one thing I will say about the quarterback's time. You need more time. That's what started all this conversation, was me saying, listen, guys, Baker Mayfield might very well suck. Right now, the thing that would alarm me if I'm a Cleveland fan is that whether he does or he doesn't, we're not real sure of just yet. But we have two glaring issues spanning last year and now this year that would have me concerned. And they were concerns coming out of the draft that we thought maybe he could overcome, and maybe he will. But there is evidence that he might not now. And that is, look at the number of batted passes. Go look up, this is a stat you can find. Go look up how many times Baker Mayfield has had a pass batted at the line of scrimmage this year. It's outlandish. It's over 20. It's outlandish. That is a problematic stat because stature was something we worried about with him, right? It's why we got into these great debates with the kid going to Oklahoma. We're like, Kyle Murray is shorter than Baker Mayfield, and we're worried about Baker. The only guy that's really kind of been able to move around that, Russell, obviously, and he's uniquely gifted and has been good since day one, and earned that job by beating out the incumbent they spent so much money on. So that guy has done it and shown it and proven it, and he is also unorthodox in the sense that nothing's on time. It's amazing. And Drew Brees, he's the other one that has found a way to be a truly short quarterback and make it work. But really, those guys are outliers.
I just think there's a lot of dudes in the league, like a lot of them, not 10, probably 20, that can have an incredible season. But we need to stop ourselves from donning the dude, great for having
there's
one
a race
season.
to do it. There's a race to do it, and it depends on who you're rooting for, right? I mean, if it's your guy, you want to proclaim him as the next great thing. You want to Crown his ass is what you want to do. And if it's a guy you hate, or he went to a rival school, or he plays for a team that you don't like that's in your division, the second he flounders, you want to tell everybody that he's terrible, can't play. And we all are guilty of it to varying degrees. I get it. But there is it's a disease amongst the talking heads on a day-to-day basis to claim somebody is horrible and a bust or Hall of Fame great.
Well, somewhere along the line, it went from a month or a season's worth of information to a week's worth of information.
It's game-to-game
and
referendum.
That's just stupid.
Yeah, it is dumb. Yes, it is. Annoyingly so. Jeff Cameron, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Owner of T-Spark Enterprises, I guarantee when it comes to your business space, we only provide picture-perfect results.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CGC 1525336.
Text Fan Cave to 66555 and enter to win an ultimate Fan Cave experience from Bud Light, an over $1,500 prize giveaway. Text Fan Cave to 66555 or visit TryEagleSales.com. Must be 21 or older. Please drink responsibly. A message from local beverage distributor Tri-Eagle Sales.
Thursdays are Friday Eve, and that's a reason to celebrate. No matter what you're looking for, they've got you covered every Thursday down in College Town. Centrale offers 50% off select pizzas all day, every Thursday. Or you can stop by Township for Taco Thursday. $2 house tacos, $2. Madison Social offers the Social Agreement. You and a buddy can split 1 Aurora wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 proof Madison Socials, all for just $40. See what they did there? And don't worry about parking. Plenty of spaces available in the parking deck or surrounding lots. Check out all the Thursday College Town deals right now on ThursdaysInCollegetown.com.
Hey, I'm Jeff Doxey, Realtor for Capital Property Consultants, representing Premier Fine Homes. If you're thinking of owning your own brand new Premier home, call or text me at 850-545-4747 or email me, jeffdoxey1@gmail.com. You say where, I'll be there. Your Canopy Connection.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left.
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Hardee's new Monster Roast Beef Sandwich is stacked with slow-cooked roast beef, slices of crispy applewood smoked bacon, all covered in layers of melted cheese. This tasty triple threat is kind of like an epic no-hands backflip on a wild Mustang while spearing a great white shark. How you got a wild horse out in the middle of the ocean isn't important. What's important is that the new Monster Roast Beef Combo with fries and a Dr. Pepper is only available at Hardee's.
Available for limited time after regular breakfast hours at participating Hardee's. Dr. Pepper is a registered trademark of Dr. Pepper 7-Up, Inc.
Time now for your Atlanta Braves Minute. Brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey. Personal injury law is all they do.
Game 4 of the National League Division Series went 10 innings before the Cardinals sent their veteran catcher Yadier Molina to the plate.
First pitch of the sequence. Popped up down the left field line, drifting back and over is Duvall. Tagging at third is Wong. Duvall makes the catch. Here comes Wong. Here comes the throw. It is nowhere close. The Cardinals win it, and this series will go one more game. The Cardinals celebrate in shallow center field as they chased Molina out onto the field. They celebrate their victory. An incredible ball game and an incredible series.
There were plenty of home runs in this one as both starters were chased by the 5th inning. Paul Goldschmidt and Marcell Ozuna led the Cardinals with an early home run barrage. Then Ozzie Albies put the Braves on top with a 2-run shot in the 5th inning. Molina came up with a game-tying single in the 8th and that sac fly to win it in the 10th and tie the series up at 2 games apiece heading back to Atlanta. Game 5 will happen tonight at SunTrust Park at 5:02. Mike Foltynewicz will face Jack Flaherty in a rematch of Game 2. I'm Grant McCauley with your Atlanta Braves Radio Network update.
Farmville Lewis Messer McConaughey sponsors Braves baseball so that all of you can enjoy the action. Ever since the days of Hank Aaron and Dale Murphy, we've been Tallahassee's home run hitting law firm. And because we don't get paid unless we win, we want to win every case as much as Chipper Jones wanted to win every game. So when you're injured, don't just trust any law firm to handle your case. Make the call to the bullpen for a trusted closer. To see our stats on the back of our baseball card, visit wrongfullyinjured.com. Farmville Lewis Messer McConaughey. Personal injury law is all we do.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to watch the relay from Kiermaier to Adames to get Altuve another 52 times before I stop for the day and then pick it up at some point again tomorrow. I was watching it during the break. It must be the 25th, 26th time, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe 30th, who knows, that I've watched that replay.
That's what that dude does in center field. Not much more. But he did run into a home run in Game 3, which helped him a lot.
He's weird. He's streaky that way. When he does hit, he hits, but he doesn't hit for long.
He was
out of time. But that it just shows you if you're elite at an element of the game that really, really matters, you can overcome other areas of the game in which you're weak. He is an incredible defender, and it was on display there, but it was the two of them making magic. That was unbelievable. Because if either missteps, even, a foot, misstep, a hesitation, a fraction of a second off, that doesn't happen. It had to have been absolutely perfect. And there have been, I'm reading articles today across the country. It's interesting to watch. Some of the greatest sports writers, former players, managers, talking about it may have been the greatest relay in that situation in a playoff game that they've ever seen. It was. I didn't actually believe it. It was awesome. My kids went to bed early last night. My wife said she was tired. She went to bed early last night. It's me, a computer, a big old glass of this delicious green tea that I like that Arizona makes, and the game. And my dog, one of my dogs laying next to me, the other dog to my left, and we watched baseball. And that play happened. And when it did, I thought, did I just hold on a second? And they're celebrating. I'm rewinding immediately. Like, did that just happen? How did that happen? Because the one angle immediately from behind home plate, when you see the ball go over Kiermaier's, and that's a poke, by the way, that's a laser. You see where Altuve is on the base paths, and you're like, well, that's a run. I'm not worried about that. Can they keep him, to 2 or
to 2?
Is that going to
right
be
center?
Yeah, and I'm kind of trying to size all this up. I've assumed the run is going to score. In fact, when Adames turns to throw, I'm kind of like, what are you doing? You got no shot. Just eat that. And then I realized, it's like you're doing the calculation, you're doing the math, you realize there's a shot, and that thing is Both throws, low lasers, spot on.
Yeah, like 6 to 8 feet off the ground, and they're on a line. There is no blue pill ever created that can do for Tom Amansky what that relay did for Tom. He hasn't stopped watching. It's like Jimbo with the every single.
The way, I mean, Travis D'Arnaud deserves credit too.
Yeah, D'Arnaud.
D'Arnaud, it's a perfect catch and swipe.
No, he can do the catch and swipe. He can't do much more defensively, but that's fine. Good for him. Good for him.
You're not bitter at all that he's enjoying this postseason success?
No, I'm really not. I found it interesting that they fixed a little bit of what was wrong with his swing for 5 years. I'm screaming at the television. He's looking like Julio Franco. He's got the bat on the side of his other ear before he starts into his swing. Like, how do you expect to catch up to 95? Anyway,
I want to direct your attention to MLB.com, where they have now broken this play down, both with video, like the Zapruder film, and also diagrams showing you specifically when Kiermaier picked up the ball. He's 384 feet deep. Adames going out to catch the cutoff is 198 feet deep. Altuve, round second, is basically halfway between second and third when Kiermaier picks up the ball. He's 50 feet from third base. Then that throw, and they examine how that throw is made and what has to happen. So from where Altuve was when Kiermaier picked up the ball, he would have been expected to require 5 seconds to get to the plate from where that is, right? Mm-hmm. In the same 5 seconds, the Rays needed to make 2 perfect throws, including the exchange times of unleashing those throws, which breaks down, according to MLB.com, like this. Kiermaier could be expected to take about 0.75 seconds to throw the ball. His average arm strength on competitive throws this year was 95.8 miles per hour. That dude can throw. Don't try to run on his ass. He topped out at over 100 miles per hour this year on multiple throws earlier in the season. He was 186 feet away. The throw loses about 10% of its velocity every 60 feet. And when you recreate the calculations shown by MLB.com's Tom Tango, you find that Kiermaier's throw should take 1.5 seconds. Adames could expect to take about 0.75 seconds to throw the ball. And he has lower arm strength. Fastest throw for him this year, 86.5 miles per hour. Do you think Kiermaier saw this article and went, man, get it together. Let's do some working. However, he did top out earlier this year at 93 miles per hour. Long story short, they both probably threw the 2 hardest balls they've thrown all year perfectly and exchanged just right.
And we now know the guy who's in charge of these things is named Tom Tango.
And Tom Tango is a terrific name, and I will use it forevermore as the fictitious guy that I'm referring to in random stories. What does Tom Tango think? What's the old Tango going to tell us? Go talk to TT. You can see how easy that would be.
Hello, Hampton Inn. Yes, I'm looking for Tom Lang. I'm sorry, we don't have a Tom Tango.
Tom Tango.
Okay, we'll put you right through.
Can I help you, sir? Yes, Tom Tango.
Reservations for 4.
I'm going to start reserving all of my things at Tom Tango. It's going to be the best. You're going to call looking for me somewhere. I'm like, is Jeff Cameron there? No. Is Tom Tango there? Oh, yes, I'm sorry, sir. That's perfect.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Congratulates the 2019 NL East champions. This message is brought to you by Fonville, Lewis, Messer, and McConaughey, proud supporter of Atlanta Braves baseball. Seminole Headlines, presented by Capital City Bank.
You're damn right.
Catch Jeff Corey and Ira each Tuesday night from 5 to 7 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers Advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers Advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
GT Electric is Tallahassee's premier state-certified electrical contractor. Locally owned and operated, GT Electric offers a variety of electrical services for residential and industrial fields, including upgrades, repairs, replacements, and installation. GT Electric also sells and services power generators for commercial buildings, homes, and construction job sites. Call them today at 421-9002. That's 421-9002, or stop by GTElectricFL.com.
Times can be tough, but getting a late model car is easy at Champion Auto Sales. Champion Auto Sales can quickly approve you, no matter how bad your credit. Bankruptcy, repossessions, bad credit, no credit. Champion Auto Sales can have you writing today. Give them a call at 850-999-8395 or visit them on the web at championautofl.com. Their brand is quality and credit approval is guaranteed. Champion Auto Sales, 2754 West Tennessee Street across from TCC. Stop by today.
Your next haircut now has a shortcut. Introducing the Sport Clips Haircuts app. That's right, now the cut you want is just a tap away. Just download the app, check in at your neighborhood Sport Clips, and choose your Guy Smart stylist, and you're done. We'll text you when your stylist is almost ready. Then head to Sport Clips for a championship haircut experience. It's home field advantage for your hair. No appointment needed. Just download the Sport Clips app and check in. And don't forget a beard trim. Sport Clips. You choose the cut, we cut the weight.
Can you hear it? There's no better tradition in all of sports than 80,000 Noles doing the war chant. Now is your chance to be a part of that. Single game tickets are on sale now as the Noles welcome in all alumni for homecoming inside Doak Campbell Stadium as Syracuse comes to Tallahassee Saturday, October 26th. See Florida State football live in person. Call 888-FSU-NOLE or visit Seminoles.com today.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Hey, Jeff, what's going on, man?
Hello, Eddie. How the heck are you, buddy?
I'm okay. I guess we got to do this commercial.
Time for the bantering to begin.
Yeah, but you know what, Jeff? I want something different now.
You don't want to banter anymore.
I enjoy the banter. I do. But I want theme music, Jeff. Gordo's needs theme music.
Gordo's, the restaurant, the delicious food and the people and the atmosphere. Gordo's, not you personally, but Gordo's.
Yes,
I like
Gordo's, not me. I mean, of course, I would love to have people following me around playing music all the time.
Especially at Gordo's.
It's always in my head. But I need something for Gordo's. I need to have something special, something that, you know, heck, the King of the Hill has his own theme music. The Kids in the Hall. Why not me? Why not Gordo's?
Why not Gordo's? All right, I guess I'm going to be looking for some theme music.
You mean you're going to have Tom looking for some theme music?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yep, get on it, Tommy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. The spotlight tonight on Atlanta and Los Angeles for a pair of winner-take-all Game 5s in the National League Division Series. The Braves, who've lost 9 consecutive postseason rounds, will try to break that skid versus the Cardinals, 4:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Then in prime time, 2 of the NL's best face off when Walker Buehler and the Dodgers welcome Steven Strasburg and the Nationals. Buehler was brilliant in the series opener, but there's a concern when it comes to the 25-year-old with so much at stake, points out ESPN MLB insider Buster Olney.
For a young pitcher, I'm always curious about arm side command as they start, because it always feels like adrenaline can manifest itself with their delivery going too quickly, with them spinning open, with their fastball sort of spraying up and to the right for a right-handed batter.
Buster on the Baseball Tonight podcast. Clayton Kershaw expected to follow Buehler out of the bullpen. He could pitch multiple innings. Kershaw went 6 in the Game 2 loss. Coverage 8 Eastern, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app. Twins will pick up the $12 million option on slugger Nelson Cruz for 2020. He hit over 300 with 40 home runs this season. NFL, Jags cornerback Jalen Ramsey back in practice on a limited basis as he continues to deal with a back injury that sidelined him the last 2 games. Coach Doug Marrone said the team would be careful with Ramsey to avoid a setback and recover in time to possibly play on Sunday. The Giants will be quite shorthanded against the Patriots tomorrow night. Running back Saquon Barkley, receiver Sterling Shepard, tight end Evan Engram, and running back Wayne Gallman all out with injuries. Jets tight end Chris Herndon listed as week-to-week with a hamstring injury, not expected to play against the Cowboys this week. He pulled the hammy running routes on his own on Friday.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Balls McWednesday, brought to you by Hobbit American Grill. Hobbit American Grill, celebrating 40 years of serving good food to good friends for good times. Online at myhobbitonline.com.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm kind of getting warmed up for Redemption Thursday tomorrow. By the way, we cut out early today, not by choice, but big-time Game 5 Braves Cards at 5:02, 5:04, somewhere in there. We'll take you right up to it this hour. So we have to make way for that pivotal Game 5. I know nerves are frayed. These are the kinds of games that St. Louis certainly expects to win because they always do, whether they deserve to or not. And the Braves haven't won a playoff series since 2001, I don't think. So, obviously, very nervous. First time they've led a playoff series since 2001 or 2002 is what I think it was.
Remember the waning moments the other day in Game 4? And
Which is what they did prior to losing the last one.
Cardinals had not tied the ball game yet on the ball that bounces off of Freddie Freeman's glove.
Yeah.
And that must have been slow torture. But probably in the ballpark of the infield fly because you're just watching that ball. They cut to it so early, and it's
crazy.
Just this little nothing number.
Yeah, I'm not down on the field for field level, so I can't say, but I really thought he's got to make that play. I just
The side angle made it look like the effort was Herculean, but he just couldn't get there in time. Like it was perfectly placed.
I just don't think he took the correct first step. I think if he had to do it over again, I think he froze. And
could be true.
You know, I mean, but I listen, at the end of the day, it just felt so St. Louis-y.
But they're showing the Cardinals fans, and they're all like, oh, woe is us. And it's like, screw you people.
Yeah, don't start.
Don't you do it.
No. It's the worst. It's the worst. What are we underdogs by currently? Here's the latest line. I got it updated right now. It really did not move in our favor at all. It's minus 27. My God.
Vegas believes it's a good number. It's going to hold.
Yeah, they sure as hell do. My God. Vegas is like, no, man. It's going to be an ass beating.
Bend over.
Over under 60.
Over under 60?
Mm-hmm.
And the number's 27?
It's a lopsided equation.
Bend over.
Whew. I don't know, man. My goodness gracious. I have a hard time accepting that that's the reality of our situation. But it is. And you just have to do something about it. But we'll see if we're equipped to do something about it. That's the biggest question. I just don't know. I think we'll play hard. I think we'll play intense. I think we're probably focused and ready as much as we can be ready. I just don't know if we're good enough. If we're good enough to be able to hang around and make it fascinating in the second half. You know, that's the first stated goal here. Make it a game. create a sense of game pressure at halftime of this football game where there's real doubt what the outcome is going to be. Can you do that? That's the first lofty question. Can you do that? You did it for a quarter last year, and you were a mess of a team. So this one has a little bit more intestinal fortitude than last year's team did. But the offensive line is still a sorry-ass offensive line. And that's what I return to every time I start to figure out a way, right? I create this path, and then I go, hey, what are you talking about? Yeah, it didn't work. You can't block it. And so, that's where I hold my breath.
I just wonder, and you know what? It was no score into the second quarter, and it was that defensive line from last year. Clemson's vaunted defensive line, the Power Ranger guys, right? I just wonder if Venables mimics what NC State did defensively, where they stack it a little bit, because I think that confused us in terms of assignments. It looked like NC State was able to do some twists or whatever the hell you want to call it, stunts.
Yeah, I don't like that that's on film. That the way we looked for a quarter and a half offensively trying to block NC State's front, Brent Venables has got to be like, oh, okay.
So there's your answer.
We
right.
got this.
Because before that, the offensive line wasn't so unequivocally terrible. It was bad, but it wasn't like a non-starter to a debate.
Right.
Now it's a non-starter because of what we saw in the first half.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That's why I don't have a lot of hope. The people that email me and tweet at me and text me and that I see out and about that have hope seem to really have an awful lot of faith in Kendall Briles to scheme around this glaring weakness. And I've said, you can scheme around a weakness that is overwhelmingly, at a disadvantage in this matchup, like the offensive line against Clemson's defensive line. When you're facing Louisville and NC State and Louisiana Monroe and even Boise State, which has a good defensive line. This is a different animal.
Kendall said it, too, in his availability yesterday morning.
Yeah.
He said, you could scheme around it, as much as you want, but at some point you got to block the guy in front of you. And if he's willing to say that on Tuesday before Clemson, well, it tells me he's frustrated.
Yeah, well, he's got to be, and he's got his guy, and I'm sure Randy is frustrated too. I mean, it's just what you have here, and you challenge and you try to prod, and you certainly try to find that ground where it's enough to motivate, but not enough to deflate, and it's tough.
Find it interesting that when asked about how do you manage the two quarterback system, Kendall responded, I'll lean on Willie. I'm going to lean on Coach Taggart for that, of when to pull guys and when to put guys in. I feel like there's subtext there. There's one of two ways that you could go in interpreting that. Number one, that's the party line for this week so that you don't tip your hand on how much one person is going to be used over the other for a couple of purposes, opponent and then also your own quarterback's morale.
He doesn't want to misstep there. I understand that, yes.
But then two, the other way you could interpret it is, I don't want to do this. So, yeah, I guess we'll go by his plan, whatever that is.
I don't think it's that he doesn't want to utilize both quarterbacks. I think that maybe when those moves are made may not be dictated by him, and so he's just of the mindset now that there's no need for me to comment on this because I'm not making the decision. This is going to be a head coach decision. I think he sees the value in both guys at varying points. I think he would probably be in line with us on that. He knows the limitations for both guys, and there's a time and a place for those two guys. But I don't know that he has final say, certainly, as to when one's going in and when one's coming out. I think certainly that is a head coaching decision. And listen, at the end of the day, I don't have a problem with that necessarily, as long as Willie's not interfering with play calling on a consistent basis. I don't care because the big decisions, the big ticket items should be made by the head coach. I mean, you're just an offensive coordinator after all. I mean,
yeah.
That's true. Fourth down calls, things like that. Are we going for it, not going for it? That kind of stuff. That's got to be made by the head coach.
It's just interesting because you would think that the coordinator would have a lot of input as to who's getting it done, who's not getting it done, right? One of the things that he said in camp was, you got to think like I think. I need the quarterback to think the way I can because that way we can communicate and I can ask you, what did you see? And then I get the answers. Well, if he's getting an answer that troubles him, I would assume he's got a line to go to Willie and say,
yes,
he's seeing stars out there, Coach. His head's in the clouds. We got to get the other guy in right now.
Right, and I think, by the way, that's true. I think he probably does. I think he can say, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. What do you think? It's just a deference. He has to bring it up, and then I think Willie would say, yeah, sure, go ahead.
So you would lean more toward he's deflecting because that's the actual way.
Yep, I think that's the way the decision
not
gets
because
made.
He's displeased with the idea that he's got to play both.
I don't. It's funny. This is a big topic, and maybe for another day when we have more time and the game is not this close. Meaning the baseball game coming up here at the end of the hour. I've wondered how happy he is. It's hard to get a read on him. We talked a lot this week just about Willie's personality and sort of the way that he's kind of gone into a shell and retreated a little bit about information. The way that he seems pretty frustrated with the press right now. So he's just not giving. He's not being a jerk. He's just not giving anything, right? Well, Kendall will talk to you, and he answers questions, and he's thoughtful. When we have them, when I've talked to Kendall, and I stood right next to him and had a lengthy conversation and enjoyed it, he's very thoughtful. You can tell him. You can see. You can tell when he's processing what you asked and wants to give you a meaningful answer. But he doesn't show a lot of emotion either way. There's not a lot of smiling and laughing and yucking it up. And there's also not a lot of anger one way or the other. It's kind of monotone. It's hard to get a read from him. At times I've read that to mean he's not happy here. And then other times I've thought, no. I mean, he did it after wins just like he did losses. I don't know. He's done it when they've played well on offense and when they played poorly on offense. He's just sort of been the same guy. He's consistent.
Well, and if you have to be grinding as much as he is just to get to 30 points a game, then maybe you, in general,
you just don't have
ornery. You don't have patience because you're losing time. Everything is rushed. Everything feels rushed.
Well, and I also think that you're right. I think that you're just the mindset that I got work to do, and every second I'm here talking to you, I'm not getting that work done, guys. And you see what kind of yeoman's work lay ahead of me.
You see what I
you see what I got to do.
You can scheme around it all you want. Well, I've never schemed around it more than this.
It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
At Jay Cameron Show, if FSU somehow wins, I love tweets, emails, questions that begin that way, implying there is this belief amongst some of you that it's going to happen, that it's possible. It's good. That's good. I'm not being sarcastic. I appreciate your optimism, hope, whatever it might be. You're not devoid of it. You're not bereft of it. If FSU somehow wins, should we take the entire Tiger Paw as an addition to the sod cemetery? Yeah, well, I got to tell you, if FSU wins as nearly a 4-touchdown underdog in this football game and hands Clemson their first loss in forever on their turf, ABC with the nation watching, rip up as much as that Tiger Paw as you possibly can before they fight you and security comes, because we should have it, and we should have it on display. We ought to have it somewhere, like somehow it should be in a glass case above the scoreboard that is visual, that we can magnify for everybody. No matter where you sit, you can see a piece of it. It's just a permanent part of our stadium, because that would be one hellified moment in time.
You should take the Rock. Make it the paperweight.
Steal the Rock?
Yeah.
Remember that dude tried to take the Rock? There was that guy that got busted on camera.
Yeah, that's right. He tried to take the Rock.
Drunkard tried, well, a piece of it anyhow. He was like chipping away at it or something. They caught him. Yeah, take the Rock if you can. Take half the hill.
We could call it Thrasher's paperweight.
You could take the Rock or the paw and then plant it along with the spear on Snuggy Hill the following week.
Oh,
we're just taking our victory lap and those that suffered under our hands along the way to each stop as a lesson.
This is what we've taken before.
This is what's about to happen to you. Lie down. We've been known to destroy entire fan bases and civilizations. This is what we'll do. We'll take it, we'll incorporate elements of it, and we'll move on and conquest.
So a bottle of Yellowtail Chardonnay. That's what we'll
that
take.
Comes back with us
from
Wake.
Snuggy. You get the Magnum of it. Yeah,
you get the Magnum. It's right next to the paw.
I think it's $20.
The stunning revenge tour begins a year sooner with a bad offensive line. What a glorious thing that would be. Yeah, that's we talked about it yesterday. I'm sorry. That's where I'm at. I just don't see us blocking them. But to answer your question, Goofenberg, and I always love that your name is Goofenberg, I would say that, take as much as you can. Take the flags. See if you can get the rear view mirror from the stupid bus.
You know what we should take? And I'm serious about this. We got to get a really big ladder or a cherry picker.
Oh, the asterisk?
Yes, the asterisk. You take the asterisk.
Yes. I like it. Take that. That's stupid, too. Get that fat ass into the overalls and put him in a cage and bring him back here. Make him, sit outside the stadium apologizing for being ridiculous all the time. That guy. You know who I'm talking about. He couldn't run from you.
Well, that's true.
The guy in the press box, he's a jerk to opposing.
He wasn't in overalls.
I think he was in overalls, yeah. I remember him in overalls. I think he was in overalls. I do. I think he was in overalls. I'm fairly certain he was. And fat. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a double whammy. It was
I never envisioned you would take this thing and run with it the way you have over the past 6 years.
I hate that guy.
But I needed you to pull rank 6 years ago.
I did. I made that call. It happened. And they were still jerks about it.
Yes, they were when we got in.
Yeah. And then we stood on the field, worked out for us. Both times that things got weird for us on road trips, we've been really the benefactor. Because on that day, you and I got to hang out and drink some beers out in the parking lot, which I'm sure is frowned upon for the press. And that little bus kept driving around.
Mini Bud Lights because I grabbed the wrong.
You grabbed the wrong.
I was wondering why it was so light. Then I got in the car and the line was so long. I said, we're stuck with 8 ounces, buddy. That's my fault.
Yeah, but okay, probably kept us normal. And then that little press bus that comes along to pick you up, they want you to jump in. They're going to drive you up the hill so you don't have to walk it, because the press box and the press parking there at Clemson is a light year away from the damn stadium. It is a long, long ways, and they know that. And so in essence, they're apologizing. They send their little shuttle along, and they make multiple trips. They understand people arrive at varying times. They kept coming by to check on Tom and I as we were hanging out by my vehicle, and a Kraft Nissan at the time. And they were kind of like, are these two dudes coming? And we would hide our beer I mean, I'm just,
Not really.
I mean, not really. We weren't hiding it, really. We were listening to the pregame and some music.
We were listening to music.
We were cranking it.
We were jamming.
We were kind of tailgating. We're not going to lie. We were kind of tailgating.
Yes.
We were feeling good. And we were kind of determined to have a good time, and we were going to walk on into the game. We didn't need that stupid shuttle. But they kept coming by like, fellas, one more time.
We're like, we're good.
We're good.
We're good.
We're all right. We're just hanging out. They're kind of looking at us with a jaundiced eye like, I think they're press members, but they're drinking in the press parking lot. They're not supposed to be doing that. What do we do? And then they would circle back. They'd drop off one more member that they picked up along the way, some straggler that got caught in traffic or lost. They'd come back.
But they never drove up to us. You noticed that?
Oh, no.
They kept their distance.
They thought that we were heathens. They probably were like, these guys, this is going to turn into a fight. It wouldn't have, but they saw, I think our mistake in terms of perhaps alienating ourselves was that we left those stupid little 8-ounce beers on top of the back of the car where they could see it. No, not permanently. But while we were drinking them, they were kind of just sitting there.
I didn't know. They were in the car.
No, we don't litter. But I'm saying we had them out so that we could easily access them. And so when they would drive by, they'd see the 12. Like, these guys, they don't even care. This is ridiculous.
In the last one, we had one more left in the box. And that was when we got back to the hotel. This is, what is that, like 6 hours, 7 hours later. We get back to the hotel. And I flip on SportsCenter. And I see my mug on SportsCenter as Kelvin Benjamin is going
Scores
super slow-mo and catching that pass.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, look at that.
You get your phone out, taking
Standing
the picture.
next to my
security
friends,
guard.
the South Carolina State Troopers.
Yeah, they hated Clemson, and they were working the game.
O'Donnell was one of Of
course.
one guy's name. He said, I don't care. You stay down here. If they're rude to you, you stay down here. I'm a Gamecock, so that's fine.
Meanwhile, I get a look from Jimbo because I'm on the Knowles sideline, literally standing next to the team. I could have called a play. I'm standing there. I'm thinking at some point somebody's going to be like, Jeff, what are you doing? They know me. Those guys know me. The coaches anyhow. At one point, we're up big, and Jimbo is in this mode where he's frantically calling out to a player to tell him something, and he comes way over to the edge of the box, which is where I'm kind of standing, pretending, to be looking off in the distance. And I turn to my right, and he turns and looks back at me, yells something to a player, and then turns and looks back at me again with this quizzical, what are you doing standing on this sideline this close to me? Like, how did you get here? I just gave him a smile. What's up, Coach? We're kicking ass, aren't we?
Yeah. And then one of your friends, my friend too, but one of your friends saw you, and you're allowed on the field after the game's over.
After the game is over, not before.
But they knew the game was over, so they decided to test the boundaries themselves.
We were up 30, came down onto the field, gave me a hug, got thrown out, got back into the game. I don't know how he talked his way back into the game, but he got back into the game. See, these were better times, kids.
That's what happens when you're up 50 on the road.
Yeah, when you're dominating people and doing whatever you want, still throwing the ball, including from your own end zone on a beautiful play action, and then you watch O'Leary just destroy that poor kid.
Yeah. Well, those are two separate incidents.
Yeah,
but yes,
they're both glorious.
So on the play call, I had been back up to the box to grab my belongings, get back down to the field, and I sat down for the drive, and the entirety of the press box goes, oh. They all gasped.
Oh, they couldn't believe.
Oh, wow.
They're still throwing the ball.
Oh, my God.
And you want to go, yep, still throwing.
I was sitting behind one of the guys was Andy Staples, and he goes, oh. He backs up, puts his hand over. He's like, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
This is how
this is
we
what
roll.
they're here to do.
This is what they're here to do.
I guess the bus has pissed them off.
This is what we do. Well, it was a 40-minute intro. They were trying to set the record for the loudest game in that stadium's history. Mm-hmm. All of that was true. Hey, listen, Clemson fans are good fans. They're a dominant program right now. We're forced midway through the show to reminisce in this manner because really not too long after those moments that we're describing, it all went south. And things turned around for that organization, and they have gone wayward for this one.
Woo! Suck it, Clemson!
That was a full-throated, confident young man right there yelling that out, knowing where this program was headed, knowing what lay on the horizon. And now, I don't have the opportunity. I don't have the opportunity to woo anything.
World needs plenty of bartenders.
Yeah, to watch us. You know what? And on that note, they've got bartenders at Hangar 38.
That they do.
And we will be there. We will be there taking in this game 3:30 Saturday afternoon, and you and your ilk can come on down and do the same. I'm actually going to tell you this now, Tom. I think my kids are going to be there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I told them that Dad had a different kind of remote than usual, that it is a family-friendly remote, and that I have to work. I can't be, watching over them, but they're to the age now where they can kind of take care of themselves, and Daddy will give them a game card, and they can go run around and enjoy themselves.
No, the game card's for real because it's if you don't want to use the ticket counter, you just spend $20, and for an hour you can play any game you want as much as you can. It's really simple, and that's quite affordable when you see the prices of some of the games for a one-off, play. So you can play the Connect 4 basketball game, which is really fun. They've got a full-size basketball
I like
hoop.
shooting the dude out of the cannon and trying to land it on top of the building. Did you play that one yet?
I haven't played that
it's
one
right
yet.
by the front. I'll show you. It's great. You shoot this dude out of a cannon. It doesn't work. He ends up like falling and breaking his arms and legs in a cartoon fashion, and you try it again. It's all about angles. It's great.
Really?
Yeah, I do it over and over and over again.
That's
he'll hit birds and stuff like. It's hilarious. I love that game. It's a great game, and I'm going to play it well. And if I have a card, I'm just going to swipe.
Just swipe away.
I'm going to make it happen. So Saturday, that's where we'll be. And, I don't know if it's frowned upon if I, early in this game, see that it's going the wrong direction, begin my game playing prowess. That's just like, here we go. Time to play some games. Let's go bowling, everybody.
Let's
go bowling, dude.
They got a bunch of TVs that you can
you
watch
go.
the game and bowl at the same time. But once we got to halftime of the Virginia game, because college halftime is just absurd. It always has been.
Oh, man.
So they're ticking down like 10 seconds, 5. All right. I had the card ready to go.
Time to get it on.
And I signaled a couple of people at the table. I'm like, come on.
Let's get some.
Let's play some games.
The air hockey there is awesome because it makes that sound, that high pitch ting when you hit it. It's a crazy sound. It's awesome.
They got the beer pong cup game.
They do have that,
which is addicting.
I've also oddly, maybe it's just I'm getting old. I don't know what it is. As I hearken for the past, I find myself playing a lot of the pinball in the back left corner. I will pinball the hell out of something. I know it's pinball. It's a different era, Tom. But I like the pinball. They've got an AC/DC pinball machine.
Do they really?
They do. And they've got Iron Maiden pinball. They got Metallica pinball. Got a lot of heavy metal pinball.
They also have the life-size Halo game. I've yet to play that. But if it's anything like the video game itself, I will kick everyone's butt.
What we are going to do while we're there, and if you guys want to get in on the action at Hangar 38, you can too. We are going to play the life-size Mario Kart Racing. 4 wide.
Oh, well,
5.
get
That's
in line.
Incredible.
Get in line.
Well, we're kind of hosting an event here. We're not getting into, the other people get in line.
Tell people 10-year-olds.
Yeah, get up.
They're not even there for football.
Get up, kids. I'm paid to be here.
I'm
get
Luigi.
Up. What are we doing?
He's Bowser.
This is how it's going to run. I'm going to be the gorilla. I like him.
DK. Yeah. Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's right. I'll be DK. What's the dude with the...
I'm usually Wario.
Wario.
Yeah.
Wario. Yeah, he's such an ass. I love
Here
Wario.
I go.
Yeah. That's great. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
absolutely, think about it, 3 Game 5s. Not all today, but 3 Game 5s. It's just, whew. Glad you're still on board, Jerry Cigars. You couldn't do better than this, my man. I mean, we've got game after game. And this is the heartbreak of postseason baseball. But it's the joy if you love the game and you're able to flip the switch and say it's a different animal. Because on the one hand, if you're the Dodgers, you have most certainly been a better team than the Washington Nationals all year long. And if you're the Astros, you've been the best team in baseball all year long. And for the vast majority of this season, the day-to-day, I won't call it monotony because I love the pace of regular season baseball. I love the certainty of regular season baseball. I like the background noise of regular season baseball. But there are some foreground conclusions that develop over the course of a year. And that's what a 162-game season does. It vets properly who's got a good bench, who's got a good bullpen, who's got the strongest staff, top to bottom. You learn all these things, right? So at some point, I don't know when you do it, Tom, everybody defines it a little bit differently. I think I typically get to where we get when a team gets 10 games above 500. I look at it there and I start saying, all right, they're going to take it up to 20? Are they flukish right now? How many one-run wins do they have? What's the Pythagorean? Let's take a look at this. Somewhere along game 70, somewhere near the All-Star break, you're pretty sure of what somebody is. There are outliers. Yeah. There are people who inexplicably, the Brewers, that find themselves in a position where they've given up, they're minus 100 in run differential and they're 2 games above 500. You're like, well, this is nonsense. But that's usually not sustainable. There more typically are teams like the Stros and the Dodgers that you go, that'll play.
Yeah, I think, even though the Twins dominated the Central and they held off a hard-charging Cleveland for, what was it, probably June through August, where Cleveland couldn't lose.
Couldn't lose.
It was hard to take that division seriously because of the 3 other opponents. And you're getting fat on, 50-plus games?
And not just bad teams. The Tigers and White Sox are historically bad.
Right, exactly. Kansas City was terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, the White Sox did okay down the stretch when they expanded, but in general, they were
rose up and knocked off the Indians late.
Right, exactly. But if you're playing over a third of your games against that type of competition, I'm going to water down what your record says.
Yeah, your 101 wins ain't doing it for me.
But if you're the Rays and you win 90-plus.
In that division.
I know the bottom 2 suck, but those top 3 are good.
Yeah.
They're really good. If not for the Rays, the Red Sox are in the postseason.
Sure.
I have no doubt about that. And then out in the West, you know what Houston is because they haven't lost anything year to year. The surprise was Washington. Because through 6 weeks, you go, they can't play at all.
They were 18-31.
And we played them 6 or 9 times in that stretch. The Mets did. And none of it was impressive because their bullpen completely – well, Turner got hurt, first of all. Mm-hmm. But then their bullpen undermined everything about the aura of that team, the morale of that team. You could see it. They were just waiting to lose the game in the late innings. And what that usually does is kills a team by the All-Star break. But I agree with you. By the time you get to mid-June, late June, you kind of know that you got a team that is going to buy at the deadline and is a real contender. A bunch of teams that are wild card contenders playing to make it interesting in September, sell more tickets and play the one-off, and maybe they get to the DS and get bounced.
Yeah.
And then the crappy teams. The AL had a ton of crappy teams. The AL was a 5-team league, maybe a 6-team league this entire year. The National League was really interesting for a much longer time because of the late drama in the Central. But then you had what the Nationals were doing, and the Phillies and Mets were kind of competing there in August. I guess I say all of it to say this, as you like to say. 70 games is the usual barometer.
Yeah,
Washington is this season's outlier, and then Milwaukee is this season's absolute fluky outlier, given the way that they finished the year with the Pythagorean the way.
Oh, well, that was absurd. And they caught fire, and it was unbelievable. And then the schedule kind of played out in a nice way for them, and they went whatever they did, 16-2, and it was crazy.
Of course they did, yes.
I think the Nationals, what is funny is that if you were paying attention, and we talked about it at the end of the year, you were looking at the Nationals and you were looking at the Rays. And I said in both cases, if I'm an Astros fan, I really want the A's to knock off the Rays.
Sure.
I need the A's to beat the Rays because the Rays are a problem. They're really good defensively. They're quirky. They can really pitch. This could get weird. Now, it starts out 2-0 Astros, and you think, okay, well, here we go. And they've got Verlander on the hill. Granted, 3 days rest. Plenty of guys have done that. He hasn't as much, obviously. And then right off the bat, he's getting tuned up. He can't locate. It's everything down the pike. Rays get hot, and they can pitch. And pitcher after pitcher goes out there. And they got a little lucky last night. A lot of on drives right over there at first base, things like that. But the Rays are really, Kevin Cash is really aggressive in terms of positioning and understanding zones and all of that. So a lot of hard hit balls that look like singles in traditional baseball. You end up seeing a Rays player standing there. They're just maddening.
They're the final out of the game.
Oh, it's right over the second base bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just maddening when you're watching that. If you're a fan of an opposing team, like, why is he standing there? Well, they do their homework, man. They're good. They knew there was a really good chance that ball was going there, and they pitched to it. They have a system belief, right? It starts in the minor leagues. When you buy into something, you got to buy all into it, right? And I love organizations like that, and they stand by it. Sometimes it hurts them, but they stand by it. And I just thought, well, if you're the Stros, you're probably going to win the series, but it's a short series. You can get now. You're in a damn sorry situation for a team that won as many games as they did. And tonight, if you're the Dodgers, all the pressure's on you. There is no pressure on the Washington Nationals. The Dodgers have been to the mountaintop and been this close, and all that's left is to capitalize on these 100-win teams with an offense that's a juggernaut every year, deep pitching staff. People are making fun of the Dodgers because, well, you've done everything but win the whole thing. They're becoming the Braves a little bit from back in the day.
It's like hockey's equivalent or baseball's equivalent to Canada not winning a cup, and you can feel it in elimination games. It's a distinct disadvantage to be playing at home if you're a Canadian team in elimination games or winner-take-all games. I saw it in 2015 when the Mets went out to L.A. for Game 5. That whole place is expecting to win, and this is on kind of the entry part of this window. But you could tell that whole building's expecting him to win, and it's a play that Daniel Murphy makes. He goes first to third on a stolen base. Right. It was just some goofy play, but it was almost like they knew at that moment, this is what we've been waiting for. Something was bound to go wrong. This is what has gone wrong. And I agree with you. I think, honestly, the 3 or 4 teams that were the most dangerous at the end of the season that nobody wanted to play, Nationals, Rays, and then the 2 fringe teams would have been the Indians, even though they were a bit of a fraud. That pitching staff was good enough.
Yeah, good enough. You don't want to face them in a short series.
It was like when the Giants first won their World Series. They were thought of as an outsider.
Right.
But if you look at that pitching staff,
you thought, oh, man,
that can carry the day.
Miss bats.
And I thought the Mets were the other one, too.
Oh, because of pitching as well.
Well, you get DeGrom to start 2 or 3 games a series. All you got to do is patchwork another one. And the way they were hitting and the way that crowd is in New York, it can all add up. But here you are tonight where, yes, full advantage. This would be a disadvantage if the game was in Washington for the Nationals. I think whoever hosts this game would be feeling it a little bit. I mean, think about how defeated they sounded in D.C. before even the Brewers score a run.
Yeah. No, it's weird. The only thing I'll say is when that game ended and you got Zimmerman hitting the bomb, and he's a lifer, and they love his ass, and, he's at the end of his career. And then I'm like, man, this is all a script. This is... Now Strasburg, who's having the career year and has been dominant. And by the way, I looked it up. He's really good in these kinds of games in postseason. He's been really, really good. You wouldn't want anybody else on the hill right now for Washington. Maybe he gets clubbed. I don't know, but it's baseball. But you would want this scenario. You're in a good position right now. And if he goes out and he's dealing early, can you imagine the weight that you would feel in that Dodger clubhouse? Like, we have to win this, don't we? I mean, this is it. This is our year. We're going to go back to the World Series. And truth be told, if they win this game, I think they do go back to the World Series. Without a problem, actually. I think this is a tougher series for them than anybody they face moving forward.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, listen, the Braves aren't beating the Dodgers, and I don't think the Cardinals are, although that's the luckiest franchise in the history.
It is.
I can't even.
I think the Braves, I'd be counting on Freeman to look like some semblance of himself. But I think the Braves would pose a better challenge to the Dodgers than the Cardinals would.
Right. I think it's a mismatch either way, outside of baseball being baseball. Like, this is the one where they got to survive this. And, listen, I think, frankly, the nation would like to see the Yankees and Astros meet. The team that's benefiting more than anybody is the Yankees right now because of the way the pitching staff gets set up and what the Astros have to do. The Astros, if they win tomorrow, are going to have to start sorry-ass Greinke, who doesn't look like he's equipped for this right now.
Which means Johnny Holstaff game.
Ooh.
Yes, because you get 1 day of rest. So the NLCS does begin on Friday, time to be determined, and the ALCS starts on Saturday, also time to be determined. So, yeah.
Braves fans coming up, you feeling good about Adam Duvall? You feeling good about your situation? Where are you at? I don't think they feel good.
I think
Corey Clark told me yesterday he's driving to the game. He's going. He's going to be in attendance.
I figured he'd be up there.
He'll be there. Yeah. And I walked in just to give him hell before we did some of the headlines that said, "You ready for Flaherty's shove? You think you're going to actually beat that guy twice in one series?" And he's like, "No, I don't. I think we're going to lose, but I'm going to be there for it." It just sounded so. I'm like, well, in fairness, you haven't won a playoff series since 2001, so I understand.
Well, and that's why I think for Washington, if they win late tonight, this is the moment for them where they can say, okay, here's evidence that we are beyond the demons. Because you got to prove to yourself that those things go away. The Red Sox almost had to come back from 3-0 down against the Yankees to exercise the curse of the Bambino.
And then they did so in an overwhelming way.
But, I mean, if you look at it, the way the Brewers game starts, and that's the one I was referencing, the wild card game, and how they jump on top real quick, and Scherzer was on the hill, and you got everybody second-guessing everything. People are hanging their heads in the stands the entire game. That's what Washington has been about. They've been like the mini Dodgers, all of the expectations in the world, but they never finish. Then they get rid of Harper, and they have a bit of a magical run here, but still, they knew it was going to come crashing down.
You know how happy deep down so many people in that franchise and that fan base are that, hey, Bryce, you enjoying the playoffs?
Right.
I mean, they got to be cracking up, right? I mean, it's brutal. I mean, he got paid, but, man, he's had money.
Yeah.
This is that
was an anchor around the neck of that franchise for about 2-3 years because they knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with a player like KD. You know, you just know when that next contract's coming up.
Yeah. What are we going to do?
We're
stuck.
If he wants to leave, he's going to leave. We can offer him a max deal, but at the end of the day, it's Oklahoma City. And if Bryce Harper at the time, people are thinking if he wants to go play in the Bronx or if he wants to go play for Philly or out for the Dodgers, wherever, we've got an awesome ballpark, but it's still swampy Washington, D.C. If he wants to be glitz and glam, he's going to get out of here.
I crack up. I just it's a rough deal. Fandom is tough. On the one hand, we can make fun of all these teams and these players. Of course, I'm sitting back thinking, man, it'd be cool if the Pirates were here. Then again, I'm loving not being stressed because I don't have a team in this thing. I wanted the Twins to beat the Yankees. I want the Rays desperately to win the World Series because I'm from down there, so it's the default go-to. It's my American League team. So I say I don't have a team. I have a team. I'm rooting for the Rays. But it's not the same as the Pirates, just like it's not the same as the Mets. I'd love to see it happen because I really admire the franchise. And I love Kevin Cash. And I actually know him a little bit. And so there's that element.
For me, it's very simple today. Just please let at least this first game, the one that we're about to throw to.
Yeah, we're about to throw to it.
Yes, as we listen to WTSM Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Get the legal ID
nicely
in there.
done. So Flaherty, Fultonevich, here we go again.
Please let this game be within 2 runs by the time we get to the 7th inning, because that's when the real fireworks fly.
Those two bullpens, I mean, my God.
Come on.
I mean, you just don't trust anybody.
It's almost like there's 2 games. It's you get through 6, assuming your starter does okay, and even if Fultonevich only goes 4 and change or 5, but he keeps you in the game and you find your middle relief. It's almost like that game is 1 through 6 unto itself. 7 through 9, whew, hold on to your hats, stay off of Twitter, shut the doors, lock them.
I'm looking at the run lines while we're talking. I'm just trying to figure out my angle here. Under first 5 for the game tonight, by the way. Those 2 pitchers tonight can really deal. Talking about the Nationals and the Dodgers.
Trapper keeper.
Yeah, we're going under with the first 5 tonight. I think it's 3.5 under.
3.5.
I think that's what it is. Last I saw, I'm going under. Right.
That's a lot of respect.
Yeah, I mean nobody's scoring in those first 5. You know how tense that's going to be.
It's like a Ravens Steelers over under at 28. Over under's 28, boys.
Yeah,
you sure you want to take the over?
Nobody's touching that.
Are
one.
you sure? No.
But I don't. Man, these 2 teams. I mean, it's a weird game. I don't suspect that Flaherty's going to get lit up. If one of them does, it'll be Fultonevich, probably. But my man did go 7 and did not give up a run, struck out 7, basically pitched the game of his life. Who knows? Maybe he's feeling it.
If it's the game of his life, they're in trouble because it needs to be the norm.
Well, yeah. If he can be, as long as Ronald Acuna runs, go to second when you get the chance.
He didn't even run on that ground rule double. When he hit the ground rule double, I watched it. Now, he got there. And he would have been there, But he didn't hustle out the box. He was watching that for a minute. The one that Ozuna slid and he couldn't get to.
Somebody's going to get in a fight. I mean, not in the playoffs, but there's going to be a fight at some point.
He watched that for a few steps.
And I laughed about this. This would be the ultimate test to where, it's like, I tell the story sometimes, and I know we got to go. I coached, Pee Wee football in town, the Timberlane Raiders, and we had a kid who was our best player. I don't want to get real specific here, but I put him at quarterback. At 12 years old, you put your best player at quarterback because you do a lot of running with him.
He's 40 now.
And so, it was the 90s. But he wasn't real responsible. He'd sometimes miss practice. And I was often put in a hell of a quandary because to not start him at quarterback was an automatic loss. We had nobody else, Tom.
Yeah.
And, you got your other coaches going, what are you going to do there, coach? I'm going to start him on Friday is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give him a stern talking to, and I'm going to roll him out there. It's tough, but what, you going to bench Acuna? You're not going to bench Acuna. I don't care if he stands there and they throw him out at first base on a ball hit off the wall in center field. What are you going to do? You're not going to bench him.
It's off the wall in center field. Rollo, what happened? I thought it was foul. Really? You did.
Braves fans, hang in there. Deep breaths. Coming up next, it's happening right now. Cards, Braves, we're happy to bring it to you. Our thanks to Cherry Cigars. We really appreciate you sponsoring us. And we'll be back normal. We'll get some Big Daddy wagers in here soon. But enjoy the baseball, everybody, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.